JavaScript is a scripting language. JavaScript is scripting language, and JavaScript is going to be used for make web page functional, make web page functional. And one more point: JavaScript is not object oriented, and JavaScript is simple, and JavaScript is not Java. JavaScript is not Java based programming. And one more point: Java and JavaScript both are different programming languages. Java and JavaScript both are different programming languages. And all JavaScript files saved as .js format. And JavaScript works on HTML, CSS, and browser. Okay, so how to integrate JavaScript? To the HTML. See, first of all, we need to understand something where JavaScript is going to be using for the browsers. For example, if I am taking Amazon, where JavaScript is working. Suppose if I am going to be searching for something in a text box. For example, if I want to search for iPhone, when I give a keyword called iPhone, and when I click on enter button, all iPhone related products will come. So that is JavaScript. JavaScript is working functionally on top of the browser. Basically, HTML is just like a declaration, designing part. CSS is going to be giving styles part, but JavaScript is functional. Functional matlab, and functional nothing but which is going to be clicking on button. For example, I'm going to be clicking on button. When I'm going to be clicking on button is working, click is working, and some event is working, some work is going on. That's what actually JavaScript is. JavaScript is completely functional. For example, a car without color and designs is HTML. A car with design and beautiful color is CSS, is HTML plus CSS. A car which is having fuel and functional, then we can go with speed. This is what actually JavaScript, HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript. Okay, so let me show one simple image in the internet. This is a common image which is going to be available in the internet. So HTML, CSS, JavaScript memes or funny images. For example, if you see this, where you can able to understand what is HTML, what is CSS, what is JavaScript. HTML is just like a skeleton, where you can able to see the skeleton, and CSS is going to be having a skeleton. On top of the skeleton, you'll be having some body. That is what actually some shirt, pant, shoe, beard, all these things are there. That is actually called CSS. But JS, where is the JS? JS is the brain of the web page. JS is the soul of the web page. Without soul, that person can't able to run. Without soul, that person can't able to move around. All those things. So that is what actually a funny meme of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Lot of images you can able to see. HTML, only HTML, head and body. You can see this image. You can see this image. This image is going to be giving a very clear picture of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all these things. HTML only skeleton, but CSS you'll be having some shirt, pant, all those things. Look and feel, appearance, presentation layer. So this is structural layer. This is presentational layer. This is action layer. What is action layer? Where you can able to give some bootstrap. Bootstrap nothing but which is going to be give some action. But this is going to be having some JavaScript. That is going to be having some JavaScript. Whenever we are going to be providing some JavaScript, which is going to be fly, which can able to run, which can able to work. That is what actually HTML, CSS, JavaScript memes. There are a lot of memes in the internet. You can be able to find out. So finally, what I'm going to be telling to you, HTML plus CSS plus JavaScript, a car which is going to be having fuel and functional that we can able to go with speed. A web page without having HTML, without having CSS and JavaScript, that is a skeleton HTML web page. HTML web page which is going to be have HTML web page which is having CSS, which is having CSS and JavaScript or JS, then we can able to call a dynamic web page. Dynamic web page. Dynamic web page nothing but which is going to be having functional. A web page which is going to be having some functional part. Look, feel good, functional. All these things are going to be work. That is going to be JavaScript. And one more point. So I'm going to be telling to you how to integrate JS to HTML. That is what we want to understand. Here, there are multiple ways. The first one is Inline Js. Second one is Internal Js. Third one is External Js. External JS. So what about Inline JS? What about Internal JS? What about External JS? Inline JS is going to be element specific JavaScript. Element specific JS. It means inside the element, for example, this is the element. There you can able to provide some event. There you can able to provide some event. That is what actually called inline JavaScript. One more is internal JavaScript. What about internal JavaScript is page specific JavaScript. Page specific JavaScript, where I can able to provide script tag open, script tag close, script open, script close, script open, script close. That is going to be internal JavaScript, and there I am going to be writing all the JS code inside. And coming to the external JavaScript, external JavaScript is going to be and this is going to be having application specific JavaScript. Application specific JavaScript, which need to be having for example, I'm going to be creating something like file.js separately, and there I'm going to be writing all the JavaScript code and JS code. Finally, this JS code is going to be accessing into the HTML with the script tag, script src. Script src is equal to something. I want to close the script, and src is going to be having something like your file.js. Whatever the JS content we have, that content we need to make it adjust. That's what actually inline JavaScript, internal JavaScript, and external JavaScript of things. And what are the different type of concepts we are going to be understand in the part of JavaScript concepts? So what are the different type of concepts? Like normally variables, any programming language, variables are common. Variables, operators, variables, operators, loops, conditions. After that, we need to understand some JS methods, JS predefined methods. JS predefined methods like alert, prompt, etc. After that, we are going to be working with the DOM architecture, DOM and DOM methods and browser methods, BOM methods, and something like SOM methods, CSS methods, and something like date functions and timer functions, and all these things we are going to be discuss, and we will discuss JSON data, how to integrate JSON data with the JavaScript. So there are multiple concepts I'm going to be working on JavaScript now, and we will go with the events. One more event, one big thing forgot. Events, functions. So all these things we are going to be discussing with the JavaScript. First of all, we will see how inline JavaScript is going to be working on. Okay, let me take inline JS first. Inline js.html. Okay, so finally this is body. Body, there is an attribute called onload attribute. Onload, and I'm writing JavaScript code alert box. Okay, so for onload attribute, I'm going to be giving double quotes open, double quotes close. Onload is attribute basically. Onload is event for body. And here already double quotes available, but I don't provide double quote again inside alert box. I need to give single quotes here. In single quotes, JS loaded or body loaded. Body loaded. I want to show this one. I want to show this one when I load the page. Right click on this, open the default browser. I got alert box. Body loaded. This is functional. This is functional. Web page is functional now. So that is why reason alert body loaded came. Alert body loaded came. And this is inline JavaScript. This is inline JavaScript. For example, if I am having H1 click me. On top of the H1, I want to provide one event. Suppose like on click event, on click. And here I want to provide alert clicked on H1. Clicked on H1. So why I'm writing single code inside, that is different. Clicked on me. Here outside double quotes already there. For onload, on click, outside double quotes also already there. But inside I'm giving single quotes. Inside I'm giving single quotes. Single quotes are important. And finally, guys, okay, body loaded. That is body event already working. And click on H1. One more event got fired. Clicked on me. So one more event got fired. Two events I'm going to be providing on top of the inline JS. Inline JS is mostly using for events, not that much useful for the real applications, but inline JavaScript is mostly using for events. That's it. But if you want to write a lengthy JavaScript, if you want to write elaborate JavaScript, you need to work with the internal or external. Most of the time external will be used, but internal also sometime page related scripts will be adding in the part of the page, web page. Now this is inline JS. Next, I want to go for internal JavaScript. Internal JS.html. So what about internal JavaScript? Script open, script close. That's all. Alert JS loaded. Alert JS loaded. This is internal JavaScript. That's all enough. JS loaded. That's all enough. But if I'm going to be having inline JavaScript and internal JavaScript both, what is going to be happen? For example, if I'm having some body. Okay, let me have some body now. So open the body. Or let me copy this application code here. And script is available inside the body, for example. Script is available inside the body. Okay, so now what is going to be happen? First alert box is going to be coming from JS loaded. JavaScript is working first. JavaScript is working first before loading the body. Anywhere you write the JavaScript is always script file is always executing first. So body not loaded till now. Actually, body onload need to come. Body unload need to come. So this one is need to come. First alert should be this one. This is also JavaScript. This is also JavaScript, but this is element level JavaScript. This is page level JavaScript. Page level JavaScript is script file. Script file is always executing first. So you see this JS loaded, then body loaded, then click on me, something like this. This is so-called internal JavaScript. Internal JavaScript is very, very simple one. Alert box I'm trying to working out for all these examples, inline, internal or external. Alert box, simply I'm writing alert box. Next, okay, so I don't want to put all these things. You can just make it only script. You can make a only script of that. Okay, now I want to create a external JavaScript. External JavaScript. How external JavaScript is going to be working on? External JS.html. Okay, so for external JS, I need to create a new JavaScript file that is going to be a file.js. Inside this, I'm going to be writing alert box, alert external JS loaded. External JS loaded. And there, coming to this and script src is equal to file.js. Script src file.js and script open, script close, script close, script open, script close. That's all enough. And oh, sorry, this is this is HTML file. HTML file we need to access the script file. That's all. Okay, now you can execute this external JS loaded. But external JS and internal JS, if I'm writing both, external JS, internal JS, if I'm writing both. So this is internal JS, right? So internal JS loaded. This is external JS. This is external JS. And this is internal JS. If I'm going to be loading both, what is going to be happen? So external JS loaded first, then internal JS is loading. Why? Because of line by line execution. First line is external, second line is internal. If I replace this here, if I replace that here, and first internal, then external, obviously first internal, second external. Yeah. So alert, this is JS function, show message to the user, and you can able to give the single quotes or double quotes for the alert box, no issues with that. And I can give the single quotes, I can give the double quotes also, and both will work for the alert. And there you can write some message, whatever you want, just hello, something like so here in the part of this external JS loaded, then after that I want to load alert. Hello Spandana. Yeah, so hello Spandana. Just I'm writing like this and coming to this and launching this. First of all, internal JS loading. Why? Because of that is a first file, first line. External JS loaded. After that, hello Spandana. See, two alerts are working, right? Two alerts are working, all this here and here. Here, two alert boxes are there. Okay. So this is JS working fine. And alert is this. The next important message I want to give you, that is what actually called the console.log function. Console.log function. So what about this console.log function? This is also a JavaScript function. This is also a JS function. Show message to the user. Show message to the this is a JS function. Show message to developer in console window. Console window. And this function is used for, is very useful, basically is very useful for debugging JS code. This function is very useful for debugging JS code. Yes, and this function output we can't able to see on browser. This function output we can't able to see on top of the browser. Just look into this. I just want to create one simple program that is going to be having some console.log. HTML. And let me open or let me write a console.log, script open, script close, and console.log. So here in the console.log, hello JS. Okay, so I'm writing one more console.log. Hello Spandana. I'm writing one more console.log. Hello Srinivas. Okay, fine. I'm going to be writing three console lines, and finally output is very simple. But you can't able to see any output for the console on top of the browser. And right click on this, go to the inspect. Right click on Chrome browser, go to inspect. In the part of inspect, you will be having the console button. Click on console button. There you can see the outputs of the consoles. So this is very important. If I am going to be having this console console.log is going to be printing messages, but whatever the console we are going to be getting, this console window is going to be taking a major role in the web application. Why? Because of I will show why. So for example, inside the script, I'm going to be writing alert box. Alert. Okay. So I'm writing alert box. Fine. Alert is coming. Fine. Alert will come, right? Alert will come. I don't have any issue with alert. Alert came. Alert came and console came. But I'm just doing a simple mistake over there. What I'm doing a mistake is small a, change it to capital A. Small a, change it to capital A. Then you can't able to see the alert box. But you people are thinking why alert box not came. I am already writing alert box, but where I am doing mistake, spelling is correct, ALERT, spelling is correct, but output is not coming. So we get irritated. Why? Because of page is blank page. I can't able to see the alert box. What happened? My code is correct. What is going to be happen? Then you can just go to the track page. Track your web page with console. There you can able to find out one error. That error is going to be very important. The error finding is very important in the part of JavaScript. Why? Because of JS is not compiled based programming. JS is interpreted programming, browser interpreted programming. So I'll tell you the differences between the compiler and interpreter later. But JS is completely interpreted programming. Yeah, so here I can go with the console output, and where I can see the output of error. So third line I'm doing a mistake. Okay. A is the capital letter I'm giving. So then by seeing the error, you can rectify that. By seeing the error, you can rectify that. So I can able to rectify this, and I'm giving a small a, and this will be finally solved. This will be finally solved by the console.log. Without console.log, I can't able to track the error. I can't able to trace the error. So console is one of the soul of the JavaScript. JavaScript is the soul of the web page, but console is the soul of the JavaScript. 2 points, very important points. First point is console. This function is soul of the web, soul of the JavaScript. Why? Because any time you get error, any case you are getting error, only console window is going to be showing the error. And one more point, two important note points we need to understand. One point is JS is not compiled programming, and JS is interpreted programming. One, I will tell you in the next class what is the compiled based programming, what is interpreted based programming. I will give you a clear diagram for that. And one more point, the JS is case sensitive. What is this case sensitive means? What is this case sensitive means? Case sensitive means very, very simple. Capitals are capital, smallers are smallers. For example, Spandana. Spandana. This is Spandana, and this is Spandana. These two Spandanas are different. Dana. Okay, so every time I can able to call this one Spandana, this one Spandana, this one Spandana, but three different variables. This is the first variable, that second variable, all small letters. Third variable, two capital letters. S is capital letter, D is capital letter. But all three are Spandanas. But Spandana, Spandana, Spandana. One is smaller case, one is different case, and one is different case. That is what actually case sensitive. JavaScript is case sensitive. So I will tell. So alert is alert. That's it. You can't write like alert like this. You can't write alert like this in the JavaScript. If you are writing this alert, this is error. If you're writing this alert, this is correct. This is correct in the program. Correct. And here, this is going to be giving you error. Why? Because of A is capital. It not allow. JavaScript not allow.